Hi, everybody. This is Lisa Hampton. Thank you for joining me for this PowerPoint presentation on the purpose of conducting a literary review. So now you've narrowed down your topic, and it's time to gather your information to write your research paper. You want to start with your lit review. What is a lit review or literature review? According to our textbook, the general purpose of the literature review is to gain an understanding of the current state of knowledge about your selected research topic. I read an article called Teaching the Lit Review by Cisco. I think he's out of the University of Missouri, and he really broke down the analogy of writing or what a lit review is meant to be. And I've posted some graphics in this particular slide to show you. The bucket graphic indicates that you would gather, as you read the material, you begin to see a theme or a pattern, and you start to categorize the themes and the patterns into the same category, and then once you get them all in different categories, then you begin to make an outline and to write your research paper. The bottom analogy of the big bubble visual says the magnitude of that bubble all depends on what your topic is about. All these these numbers inside your big bubble indicate the different topics within your literature review, because as you read the research and you start to see the patterns, you start to make an outline of this and you make subheadings. So within your big literature review, you have subtopics or subheadings. So this is what this analogy is, and it will help you when you start to write your actual literature review. Man, this helped me out so much, because I just thought it was a bunch of, you read articles and you write a summary, or you try to write an abstract or something. That's what I really thought. But this let me know that you're not actually arguing a point. It's not that. It's not actually writing an essay. It's just writing, researching the information on the topic. And once you write your literature review, this is what you're saying. You're saying that I've read all of the relevant information on my specific topic. So therefore, I have the authority to comment and write this literature review and make these specific statements. That is what the literature review is meant to do. I hope that helped you, because it just opened up a well of information for me. Although a lit review is meant to gain knowledge about the topic that you're going to research, it also varies depending on what type of research study is you're conducting. So I listed some of the information here that a lit review is meant to do if you're conducting a quantitative, a qualitative, or a mixed research study. Um, it depends on which type of research study you're doing. What information source would you use in conducting a literary review? Although books and journals are really good, the advancements in technology have made performing lit reviews very, very easy. So the internet is the main source of performing a lit review, is major source, and some of the educational and other databases where you can find peer-reviewed articles are listed below. But yeah, the internet, and I'll go into detail later on why the internet is more preferable than just regular books, because when you get into how you can tell that a resource is credible. Yeah, but the internet, you can find empirical articles and peer reviews. Like I said, we want to get into talking about how to judge the quality of the internet resource. In your book, I believe it's page 82 or 89. There's a table 4.5 that gives you a lot of information on how to um, judge the quality of an internet resource. You want to judge it for authority, accuracy, objectivity, currency, and coverage. Sometimes for coverage, I do run into articles that want me to pay to download the article. And I don't know why that is, because the URL does have, for the authority, that does have the, and sometimes I'm even in Eric or something like that, or JSTOR. But sometimes they want me to pay for it, and I see here that when you can view the information on the website without paying a fee, that shows you that the information is quality. So look at the chart and review some of these criteria here for how to judge a quality internet resource. This should help you out while you do your lit review. What does it mean if a source is empirical, and what is peer-reviewed? Empirical research is based on observed and measured phenomenon and derives knowledge from actual experience rather than theory or belief. How to tell if a study is empirical. You read the subheadings within the article or the book or report, and look for a description of the research methodology and ask yourself, can you reproduce this? Can you do this, recreate the study and test these results? Some of the key components or characteristics to look for, and is the specific research question to be answered, the definition of the population behavior or phenomenon being studied, description of the process used to study this population or phenomena, including selection criteria, controls, and testing instruments such as surveys. Also, most scholarly journals have four components to them, and the introduction, which is sometimes called a lit review. Then it goes into the methodology, and then it gives you the results or the findings, and then it ends with a conclusion or discussion. So that's how you can identify when you have when you are have an empirical article. Now, the next thing is a peer review. What is peer reviewed? Peer reviewed is when you discuss your interpretation or findings of a study with your peers and colleagues. Um, Scholarly articles are the most credible sources you can find because of the rigorous peer review process. They are written by people who have studied these subjects for many years, and they have been reviewed by other people with similar experiences. They are thoroughly research, which means they can be found. The article, you can find the article's bibliography to find other resources that might be useful for your paper. I was reading, as I was doing this project, I looked at all of the information that you have to collect. Sometimes I read somewhere that if you want to, if your professor requires that you list 10 references for your research project, you need to at least read 40. So while you're trying to search for patterns and in the different articles and trying to keep up with all of that, how do you make sure that you're tracking everything? There's actually software or databases, systems out there that you can use to organize your documentation. I listed a few of them here, but you might want to look into it because the Zotero is the one that is free. That's the first one. That's the one I saw. So in order to, when you're doing a lit review, you want to make sure that you kind of categorize everything and structure it so that you know where everything is. Now, I gave the analogy in the prior um, slide with the buckets, that's categorizing it just to let you know what you're supposed to be doing. But then you need to actually try to form some kind of system where you actually do it. Get some kind of system that'll help you when you start writing your paper. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good evening.